I've trained clients to IFBB and Natural Pro Cards, from first show to pro. In these videos, can you tell which was best for muscle growth? In these videos, you'll see me use 3 different weights: 80-pound dumbbells, 100-pound dumbbells, and 120-pound dumbbells. When you're deciding on what is the right weight to use for your working sets, it can be a little confusing, because often for most exercises, there will be a range that feels like it's maybe heavy enough, all the way to maybe this was too heavy. So how do we know? How can we choose the right weight? One way of knowing if it's too heavy is if our goal is muscle growth, can you still feel the target muscle? For me, in chest presses specifically, I have short upper arm bones, so when I go too heavy for chest presses, I tend not to feel it in my chest, and I end up feeling it more in my triceps. I'll also see a change in the mechanical pathway of me doing the movement. If my goal is chest, I'll find that when I'm doing the press, I go a little bit wider at the bottom, and then as I'm pressing up, I'll bring the dumbbells in a little bit to get that good chest squeeze. However, when I'm going too heavy and my triceps are taking over, I tend to press in a straight up and down pathway, because at the bottom, my hands don't want to go out wide and expose the chest. They're staying narrower to involve the triceps. That was really helpful when I was doing powerlifting and using dumbbell presses to develop my pressing strength. But if my goal is chest growth, I have to stay light enough that I can isolate and feel my chest. On the other end, if I go too light, what tends to happen is you'll feel the proper pathway, your mechanics will be good, but you'll end the exercise because you either get out of breath or the muscle burns so bad that you have to stop. Using the burning sensation is more acceptable in isolation movements such as lateral raises and bicep curls, maybe tricep press downs. That is okay in isolation movements. However, when you're doing heavy compound movements, multiple muscle, multiple joint movements, and your goal is growth, then you want to end the set because you mechanically just can't move the weight anymore, not because it's burning so bad. So when you're deciding what is too light, you want to make sure that you're ending your sets because you physically just can't move the weight, not that the muscle is burning so bad that you have to stop. So that gives us our parameters for our end ranges. If it's too heavy, I can't feel the target muscle. If it's too light, I'll end up being out of breath or the muscle burns so bad I have to stop. Your goal is to find somewhere in the middle. Often people will have a preference towards one end or the other, and that's okay. If you find that that feels best for you and you are making progress in both your performance and your growth development, then great. Keep doing what you're doing. You'll also find that sometimes your preference will change depending on what muscle group you're training. As I mentioned, for smaller muscles, such as the shoulders, the triceps, the biceps, you might find that leaning more into that kind of higher rep range, that pump feel, feels better. But maybe on bigger muscle groups, such as the back, the chest, the legs, you might find that heavier weight tends to feel better. And that's okay. You can change depending on the muscle. You can also change depending on the day. If you come in that day and you're beat up and you're tired, you might want to go a little bit lighter. If you're feeling excited and fired up to go, you might want to go a little bit heavier. But this gives you some food for thought, some parameters that you can think through on deciding the right weight that you should use. Again, if it's too heavy, you won't feel the target muscle doing the work. If it's too light, you'll end because you're out of breath or the muscle's burning too bad. So hopefully that was helpful. Think that through the next time you're going through your workout. If you have any questions, if you need anything, put them in the comment section below. Thank you for watching.